Plastic. It has revolutionized our daily lives with its convenience and has allowed for medical and technological advances. But now, it is everywhere. In everything we buy and use, there is plastic. Plastic utensils, plastic straws, plastic bags, plastic toothbrushes, plastic deodorant, plastic to-go containers. It seems unavoidable. One report found that 1 million plastic bottles are bought around the world every minute, and that number will jump another 20% by 2021. But why plastic? The revolution accelerated in the early 20th century, once plastic began to be made from the same stuff that was giving us abundant, cheap energy, petroleum. A world of possibilities opened up. Anything and everything could be made of plastic. And so it was, because it was cheap. And plastic production is only expected to increase, as the United States is predicted to increase plastic production by roughly 50% in the next 10 years, and tripling the amount of plastic exports by 2030. In fact, in the United States alone, the producers of polyethylene are expected to increase production capacity by as much as 75% by 2022. So, where does all this plastic go after we throw it away? Plastic goes into landfills, it is littered, dumped into our oceans or rivers, and sometimes, if it is lucky, it gets recycled. The landfills lack oxygen and force plastic to take even longer to biodegrade than their current estimates of 4,500 years to never. In developing countries, there is little to no waste management systems, which results in plastic often being littered. When the hydraulic cycle releases precipitation, it then carries this waste into rivers. Or, the waste management systems that do exist directly dump the plastic and waste into the rivers. The rivers then carry the plastic into the oceans. 8 million tons of plastic a year end up in the ocean, 5 trillion pieces and counting. Once the plastic enters the ocean, it is guided by the ocean currents. The ocean currents are influenced by the global wind current patterns. The wind energy is transferred to the ocean's surface, pulling the ocean in the direction of the wind, but rotating in a downward spiral due to the curvature of the Earth. This creates ocean currents that have a global pattern, which allow for waste to collect and accumulate in gyres. There are 5 trash gyres dispersed throughout our oceans, but the largest amount of accumulation is in the North Pacific garbage patch. Here it was found that plastics represented more than 99.9% of the total marine litter found. Due to plastic's non-biodegradable property, every piece of plastic that has ever been produced is still on the Earth today. Instead of going away, the sun's rays break down certain types of plastic, making them smaller and smaller, creating microplastics. This process is an example of physical weathering. A research study that measured and estimated the amounts of plastic in the North Pacific garbage patch revealed that even though microplastics don't take up a great amount of the mass, they make up the highest numerical concentration among different size plastics. These microplastics pose a huge threat on life. Marine species of all sizes, from zooplankton to whales, now eat microplastics because they mistake it as food. This creates a false sensation of being full, resulting in the animals starving to death. The marine animals who eat the plastics die, or are eaten by an animal higher along the food chain, like humans, known as biomagnification. For example, the latternfish mistakes the microplastic as plankton and eats the microplastic. The squid then eats the latternfish, and that squid is eaten by a tuna. And we eat the tuna. One study found that people who eat seafood ingest up to 11,000 tiny pieces of plastic every year. Marine animals often get entangled in larger plastics, stuck, unable to escape. As they grow around it, deforming their bodies. This can often result in death if not treated properly. Plastic also poses a health risk, as some contain harmful chemicals like BPA. BPA is put in plastics to make it more flexible, but it mimics estrogen in the body. Too much or too little amounts of estrogen can alter brain and organ development, leading to disease later in life. Elevated estrogen levels generally increase a woman's risk of breast cancer. BPA's harmful properties are mainly activated when exposed to heat. Despite predictions of increasing plastic production, there are some victories we can acknowledge. The Ocean Cleanup Project is up and going. They created and placed in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch a device that follows the Earth's currents to collect plastic. The Ocean Cleanup Project is also making and placing inceptors in the top 1,000 most polluted rivers in the world to collect the plastic before it gets into the oceans. Also, the creation of bioplastics is a victory. Bioplastics are made from plants, meaning they biodegrade, so they are a great alternative to plastic. Companies are also getting on board. In 2008, Whole Foods was one of the first grocery stores to completely remove plastic bags. Also, IKEA is removing all their single-use plastic by 2020. Even a plastic water bottle company is jumping on board. Evian is planning on making all their water bottles from recycled material by 2025. Help reduce your own plastic waste. You can do this by bringing reusable bags to the grocery store, not taking plastic utensils home from takeouts, and being a more conscious consumer. In England, once they started charging money for plastic bags, everyone began to bring their own reusable bags to the grocery stores. I think the United States should make this change as well. Hopefully, with more support and time, we can start cleaning up the mess we have made on our planet and start moving away from plastic and towards eco-friendly alternatives.